The Member of Parliament for Ningo Pampram, Samonate George, says the minority caucus is not bothered about losing seats in Parliament following the continuous boycott of business activities in the chamber. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, ruled that the minority's boycott of business activities without an official notification and approval from him amounts to a breach of the standing orders of the House, which could lead to members of the group losing their seats. But in an interview on Eyewitness News, Sam George says the minority will not relent on efforts to halt the persecution of its members. Akufo-Addo will go down in the history of this country as the worst president and the most undemocratic person. We must resist him at every turn if it means losing 137 seats in Parliament. That's very bold. They should declare the 137 seats vacant and let's have a by-election. After all, that will bring a lot of development to our 137 communities because it's their stock. Okay, so basically what he's saying is that since roads and other facilities come to communities when there's a by-election, then you should lose all the 137 seats and at least they'll benefit from that. Let me start with you, Victor.
I think I'm entirely supportive of the minority. Entirely. Oh. Absolutely.
Oh, Lord, you are disappointing me.
And what Sam George has said is the position. I think, so what the position minority has taken, I think the party supports that position. The standing orders are clear. If you don't go for 15 consecutive days, they can declare your seat. But this is being done in solidarity with their colleagues. The colleagues who are being persecuted.
Prosecuted or prosecuted?
Apart from Judge Kwesi, who else?
Oh,
apart from Judge Kwesi.
Collins Dauda.
Okay.
Collins Dauda is there. Right. Now, the issue is this. It is not when...
Atu is also
Yes,
there.
Atu is also the minority leader.
Yeah.
What they are saying is that the days that they will appear in court, we are going to court with them. So if they decide, or the court decides that every day the minority leader, who is our leader, should be in court, or Judge Kwesi should be in court, it's a simple thing. Minority is saying that we are going to attend to court proceedings. If our attending court proceedings will be detrimental to us, that we lose our seats, we are ready for it. Right? You see, these issues are being dealt with in this manner because from the beginning of the session of Parliament, it has always been, let there be consensus. Let us cooperate. But what have we seen? That several times the cooperation, we will agree. When they agree, the goalpost has been changed. They agree. Look, one of the agreements that they did, that's why people got angry, was that most of the ministers were passed. Because there was a consensus. Their bargain, what they were to do, they now started shifting the goalposts. And I can
you are not telling us what.
No, let me say it here. It was when they closed the media houses. Some of these media houses, you see now they've given
closed.
It was closed down.
You mean
Gold,
Radio Gold,
and
so on,
XYZ.
But
No, wait. Those were some of the conditions why they were passed. And what happened after that? What did we see? I wouldn't come here and say most of the things, but those were one song. I'm just mentioning one.
Ghanaians are entitled to it.
Yes, no,
but
let the parliamentarians themselves come and they will mention it. But I'm just giving a tip of the iceberg that every time they say, "Oh, let's cooperate, let's allow this to go, let's approve these ministers. We are building a nation." Once they finish, they shift their goalposts. So this is the time minority says, "You know what? We will stand by our colleagues. They are entitled to go to court. And if that is what it will be declared that for 15 consecutive days you've not attended Parliament, so your seat will be vacated. So be it. What have we seen? When 3 members, or was it 3, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Adrasafo, who was the 3rd person? Was it Kennedy Ajapong? Yes. When they said they had not been attending Parliament for 15 days, what did we see? Was it a charade? What did we see? The committee came back and just rubber stamped and so they should be forgiven. They have a tangible reason. Yeah, we also have a tangible reason.
Don't call Parliament a rubber stamp.
I'm not saying Parliament is a rubber stamp. I said the decision, the process, the decision was rubber stamped. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Parliament. I'm saying that decision they went, that they had a tangible reason, so they should be excused. So if this is a precedent we have seen, and I also come and said I went and solidarized with my colleague in court, or my minority leader was being hauled in court, and I went and stood by him. Is it tangible or is not tangible? They will decide. So I think that the minority has a lot of issues, and because they feel they have been deceived. And you know, this even is something that affected some of the MPs who lost their seats. Because they felt that we have sent you people there, go, and we said we did not want, especially the finance minister, we did not want him to be approved. But you know, negotiations came in, conditions, so this is what we would do, let it go. And at the end of the day, so they were being accused that you took money, you did this. So when you come back to us for your vote, we will show you. And most of them also lost. They did their hard work. They worked. But you know, so this is the time to show to the party members and the populace that, look, we can also take decisions that will inure to our benefit. And I think what they are doing is what the members of the party want. And that is what they want to hear. And they are so, look, party members are so happy about this position. I can tell you, if you go to the grassroots, they are so happy.
Kwaku.
Yes.
See, by the grace of God, I have had opportunity to be in Parliament.
Yeah.
Yes. And I am a very strong supporter of that institution, the institution of Parliament. I believe that for us to actually benefit from this democratic governance that we've selected, one of the institutions that we need to build and strengthen and make more independent is Parliament. If we don't, then we will not be able to, have the benefits of democracy. And so anything against that institution actually touches my heart. You see, it is not for nothing that when you go to Parliament, number one, as a member of Parliament, one of the first things Parliament does is they give you 2 documents, the Constitution and the Standing Orders. Yeah. And so they are the Bibles. Every serious parliamentarian, before you go to plenary, you see, you hold that document, because at any point in time, those are your reference points. And the provisions in this document are very clear. 15 consecutive days. But you see, then again, it is also not for nothing.
That thing about 15 consecutive days, I think there was an argument about it some time ago where it was about, when you say consecutive, what does that mean?
Continuous.
So
if you go 14 and then you come
Monday,
once
Tuesday,
and then you start
Wednesday,
one,
Thursday, Friday,
that's what it's
15.
Without permission. But with permission, you can get out there. It's also not for nothing that we have majority and minority. They both play roles. The majority typically will be in support of government business. In Parliament, we also say that Parliament is a master of its own rules. And so as to whether this rubber something that my colleague is...
I didn't say Parliament. Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. The Parliament is a master of its own rules. So they decide as and when as to how this thing... It also gives and invites in the independence of so that other arms of government do not have a... this decision of the minority not to go into... And let me even refer to what Honorable Sam George is referred to have said, that they are ready to lose 137 seats, so they have development. The same Sam George ran up to his primaries in his constituency. I have videos. He's praising of this government for projects that he's gotten. So we don't have to have a by-election in Ningo Pram Pram for Sam George to get Agenda 111. I'm saying this because I have videos of him praising government for all those developmental projects. So he doesn't need a by-election.
Did you also hear when somebody
was
saying they are praying
I'm saying that
to die so that they can
I'm telling Honorable Sam George that he doesn't need a by-election to get developmental projects in this constituency. Yes. So it shouldn't be through this route. This route, what my issue with this route is that, one, I think the minority are using parliament to persecute their political agenda, just like lawyer is saying now, that their political party members are happy, and I don't really see. You see, Kwaku, I made a point that look, the institution of parliament needs to be strengthened. It needs its independence, and it's for us, the people who have a duty to support that institution, should not continuously bastardize and use the institution to persecute their own parochial and political gains. It is very important. Look, in Parliament, 99% of decisions made in Parliament are by consensus. Yes. When I was in Parliament, for the 4 years, I voted on about 2-3 occasions. It was the only time that we went to that length. Now, because of the numbers, so the minority is significant. And because the minority is significant, every time they want to use these numbers. But the same Ghanaians who voted those numbers and they have sat back and looked at, let's say, the 7th and 8th Parliament and decided, after all, was it actually useful as giving a minority the significant numbers for them to be dragging down the government business in the House? This has had some very serious repercussions on our economy and where we are today. You recollect, when government took its fiscal policy to Parliament in 2021, I suppose, with the e-levy thing, you see, the government did not get the support. It dragged for 5-6 months. And these are realities. If government had support of Parliament, we had passed the e-levy in time. Maybe this whole thing of engagement and the fund and all of that would have been on the second burner.
Don't you also think that, just a comment on this one, don't you also think that sometimes the intransigence of maybe a decision-making body that says we want to stick to our grounds at all costs and that we won't shift is also part of the problem? Because, I mean, if minorities' responsibility, whether it's MPP or NDC, is to check and balance, how things are going in government, then I think it's fair to say that, okay, minority says the e-levy, if you reduce the percentage, it will work better.
Certainly.
But then
certainly.
Government says we're not touching
it. These are processes that go on in Parliament, and you don't need that whole acrimony that comes with it.
Okay.
That's why I made a point that 99% of decisions in Parliament are by consensus. So there's always room for us to agree on issues. And you see, in particular reference to this issue of the minority not going to Parliament, there are 3 arms of government. The judiciary is on its own. They have to persecute and do their duty to ensure the rights of Ghanaians. The cases of Honorable Collins Dauda, the cases of Honorable Ato Forson, have been running for a while now. The last time I checked, the suppliers of the ambulance in the Ato Forson case, they even came to court and prayed upon the court that they refunded the payment. You see, we are making progress in some of these cases. And I don't see how they want to use the legislature to extract a pound of flesh from the judiciary. And that's a very dangerous thing. That's a very dangerous thing to do. Holding on to the work of the legislature because you want something from the judiciary. It is a very dangerous thing to do because of the cross governance. I think that I pray upon the minority, right? Yeah. To do right, because when you are elected as a member of Parliament, you are first and foremost a representative of your constituents. Of your constituents, whether they voted for you or not, whether they are NDC, MPP or PPP or whatever, you represent them. And so it is your duty to go to Parliament to do the work of Parliament. Yes, caucuses are tools, there are all tools that are available to MPs. But their first and foremost duty is to the good people of Ghana. And I pray upon them to go back to do the work that we have entrusted
30 seconds. Please give us a quick comment before we go for a break. work?
I think that Parliament always work together, consensus. I told you it's the shifting of goalposts. And it is the belligerent posture of decision makers. When decision makers come and they say, look, like the e-levy, he said, engage the people. He says no. And you say, the money, when we get it, this is what we are going to use it for. We are not going to go to IMF. You know, the posture. That is when the people would say, yes, if this is the posture, we are not going to cooperate with you.
Okay.
Are you getting it?
It's all the time
it's like,
dragging it.
let's share burden.
Let's-
You always say let's share burden, but you don't say we should share the benefits.
Okay.